Hello, today we're going to try something a little bit different so that you can really see the data that I'm looking at. I pulled homework club data for the 7th grade across the last 2 weeks, and I graphed the information that I found. From Tuesday, February 21st across to Friday, March 3rd, you're able to see how many students were in attendance at homework club each day. You'll notice we missed Wednesdays because we don't do homework club on Wednesday. And we started on Tuesday the 21st because we didn't have school on Monday. So looking at this, I first asked students to think about what they noticed about this graph and what they could describe on this graph. And a lot of people started with the numbers that they saw. I've got the one here, and if I move it around, you can see all of them. And we've got that these numbers are going to tell us how many students were in attendance at homework club each of those days. So the day with the most homework club, Tuesday the 21st, we had 46 students. Day with the least homework club, Monday the 27th, we only had 15 students in homework club. From there, I asked students to think about change. From day to day, where did they see the most change? Now, nobody said that Monday the 27th to Tuesday the 28th was the most change. Looking at that, going from 15 to 17 people, everyone thought that was a pretty shallow change. They didn't think that was a big change. On the other hand, a lot of people thought that from Friday the 24th to Monday the 27th, that was an area of very big change. You went from 37, dropped down to 15 students in homework club. That was 22 fewer people that were in homework club on that day. So people thought that that would be the day with the most change. I pushed people, though, a little bit on this because I said, are there any other places where you think there was a great deal of change? And some people ended up saying that they thought this was a place where there was a lot of change, 31 down to 16, because even though the drop wasn't 22 people, they were actually starting out from a smaller number. And even here, from 17 up to 20, up to 31, you were starting at 17, going up to 31. That seemed like that could be a biggish change too. So this takes us to the difference between what we can call absolute change and what we can call percent change. Absolute change is what people were discussing when they were saying we could just subtract to find out how many more or fewer people were in homework club. So absolute change compares quantities by subtracting. For example, on Tuesday the 21st to Thursday the 23rd, we went from 46 down to 31 students. So our absolute change would be 46 minus 31 equals 15 student decrease. And that is our absolute change. Similarly, if we were to look at Thursday the 23rd to Friday the 24th, we went from 31 to 37 students. So we had a 6 student increase. 37 minus 31 equals 6 student increase. But if we don't know as much about where we started, then it can be hard to compare actually how big was this in terms of where we began. So if we want to really accurately compare, we need to think about percent change. And percent change compares the change between two quantities to the original quantity. Looking at that first Tuesday to Thursday, we dropped 15, but we started at 46. So I want to know what percent of this original 46 did we drop to get down to 31 students? It ends up being very much like a part to whole equals percent problem. You have the change is your part, the original is your whole, and the percent out of 100 is what you would have as your percent comparison. For percent change, we always know the change, we always know the original value, and we're trying to find that percent value. In the case of Tuesday to Thursday, we had a 15 student decrease, and that was 15 students out of that original 46 student population. So our percent change would be 15 divided by 46. And if we want to show it as a percent, then we would need to, well, let's show that first. 15 divided by 46 is approximately 0.326. And then 0.326, that decimal, 326 thousandths, is between 32% and 33%. And now we just need to decide, is that closer to 32% or 33%? Because the 6 afterward is higher, closer to the 33%. See, 32.6% is going to be closer to 3%. So this actually would end up being a 33% decrease. Looking at Thursday to Friday, we had our 6 student increase, and that was out of the original 31 students. So we would say we had 6 divided by 31 students, 6 out of 31 students, which is approximately 194 thousandths is going to be the percent 19.4%, which is between 19% and 20%. But 19.4 is going to be closer to the 19% than the 20%. So estimated to the nearest percent, this would be a 19% increase in homework club population. The important things to remember here are that your part you can find by subtracting. Your original is always your whole. We are not comparing it to the new information. We are comparing it to what we had originally. And then to find the percent, you can think about the decimal. What would that decimal look like? 32 out of 100, so you would have 32%. 19 out of 100, so you would have 19%. We ended up finding that, in fact, the largest percent change was not from 37 to 15 and was not from 31 to 16, but was actually from 17 up to 31 because our original was so small. We had 31 minus 17, which was 14 students increasing. And then if we calculated that percent change, 14 students divided by 17 students, that 14 out of 17 is close to 100% because you see that those numbers are so close together. And that would actually be approximately 82%. So we had an 82% increase, a big jump from 17 students to 31 students on Thursday, March 2nd. Thinking about why this might happen, that was the last thing I asked students to do. Make some inferences as we looked at this data. Some students said that they thought this had to do with weekends. Some people said, oh, over the weekend you have more time to get homework done. Some people said over the weekend and when you have longer periods of time, people actually get their homework done less. Some people also noted that it had to do with what was due each day. On Thursday, many students have assignments due in 3 out of 4 of their classes. And on this day in particular, Thursday, March 2nd, there were 16 math homework problems that were due. And so things like that might have resulted in more people having homework club, giving you a bigger jump. Overall, when you're looking at percent change, you want to be thinking about what was the change in absolute terms? How can I compare that to the original quantity? All right, thank you.